Have you ever heard of your friend or some rando online be like, I'm a self-taught artist? Well, I'm sorry to say this, but they deserve to be run over, which means they die. Hello, I'm Jark and welcome to my channel. And today we're talking about the concept of being a quote unquote self-taught artist and why it is the most stupidest, pointless title you can give yourself. It's even more pointless than you are to your mom, and even she would agree. I mean, nobody's like, hey, I'm a self-taught walker. When I was 3 years old, I got up by myself. I didn't need nobody. I just got up and I started walking. First, we have to define what does it mean to be self-taught? Does it mean you're an artist who's never been to art school? Or does it mean that you've never had any help from any resources outside of yourself, such as YouTube tutorials or an art buddy friend that critiques you? And not really sure, but under either of these definitions, it still doesn't make sense. So think about this. How much formal training are you allowed to have as an artist before you can no longer call yourself a self-taught artist? If you happen to take art classes in high school and maybe one or two in college, are you no longer allowed to use that label? Because I've heard people call themselves self-taught despite the fact that they graduated with an art degree. So what meaning does the term really have if, anyone can just put it on their LinkedIn? Nothing! Because you're a baby little incel who still needs to read the directions on the box to make mac and cheese. I don't need to do that anymore. Mommy, do you need to put the milk or the cheese in first? I think you're just trying to be that because you're trying to be a Giga Chad like me, but you never will. Is my shirt on backwards? Look at how much of an alpha I am. I could bench press 300 while drawing my OC bench pressing 300. That's also drawing their OC benching press the 300. Just because you learned how to draw bazongas from a DeviantArt post rather than from a crackhead professor doesn't make you superior to those who went to college for art. You could argue that everyone is self-taught regardless of whether or not you went to art school. Even if you're in a college setting, most of the time, you're the one teaching yourself. Occasionally, you might get some help from the professor, but at the end of the day, you're the reason you've accomplished everything you've done. By claiming you're a self-taught artist, you're devaluing the efforts of those who gain the same skills as you, but in a different manner. I myself have graduated from college in art education and had to take many art classes. While there was a lot I learned, most of what I know about art was from my own research. Most of the knowledge I have today when it comes to making art isn't from the professors, it's from all of the online resources that make me who I am today. Many years ago, the term self-taught artist would have had some more meaning, possibly, because back in the day, people didn't have the resources we have today. Going to art school was almost the only option to becoming a successful artist. But the difference today between a self-taught artist and not one is more of a difference between where your learning is taking place. On the other hand, you could argue that not only is everyone self-taught, but also at the same time that no one is self-taught because everyone is getting new information from somewhere. For example, if you learn about the facial proportions with an online tutorial versus a professor in person, does it really make much of a difference? If you're in person, you have the ability to ask them questions, but if you're online, you also have the ability to do this if you're part of an online community. Being a self-taught artist is a myth, because even the most reclusive artists have had some connections with other people in one form or another. It's impossible to learn art on your own, and those who claim they have don't acknowledge all the people and resources that have helped them out. So, in the end, calling yourself a self-taught artist doesn't make you special, it just makes you look like an ass. Alright, that's all I have for today. Share your own thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more of these talks. See you next time. Bye, my dragons.